So the newest Absolute Batman issue just dropped. It's called Absolute Batman Arc M. And in this comic, apparently, the word on the street is that Joker has gotten even scarier. And we also learn more about Absolute Gotham and its lore. So the issue starts off with a guy known as Dr. Amadeus Arkham. And he is the one who founded Arkham Asylum. And what we're about to read is basically his confession from a book about the secrets of Arkham Asylum. So we go back to 1945, and we see Dr. Arkham staring at some portraits on the wall. Someone then knocks on the door, and it's revealed that a businessman is coming here to complete a deal on buying Arkham Asylum. The businessman asks Dr. Arkham if he's too early, and Dr. Arkham reassures him that he isn't, and that he's just determined to get the deal done. The businessman then looks over and sees a portrait of a woman on the wall, and asks Dr. Arkham who that is. Dr. Arkham will respond by saying that is his mother, and that it can be said that the Arkham Asylum began with her. Dr. Arkham then explains that his father fought for the Union in the war, and that once the war was over, his mother was standing at the window awaiting for his father to come home in return, as his father was supposed to have come home by now. The waiting had taken a huge toll on his mother, and it also had taken a toll on him as well, as he was just a boy, and he was very young, just like his two siblings. But that night would be different, as they would see a Union soldier march up to their porch. It was him, his mother would exclaim. After all this time, father was home. Or so they thought. Dr. Arkham would explain that the soldier who had come to their porch was not their father. The soldier had brought a letter explaining what had happened to his father and his mother's husband. And the letter explained that his father had died in battle, in war. Dr. Arkham explains that once his mother read that letter, it was too much for her, and she was under so much grief that she instead decided to take the gun from the soldier's pockets and shoot him with it. She would then look over at him and his siblings and shoot both of them as well. Dr. Arkham explains that she would then turn her eyes to him, and instead of shooting him, she would shoot herself. Dr. Arkham explains that he doesn't know why his mother decided to execute the soldier, his two siblings, but spare him. That incident would shape his life, and Dr. Arkham would explain that when he first arrived at the orphanage as a scared little boy, he would emerge as a confident young man, with nothing on his back but his clothes and a dream. Dr. Arkham had a dream to help people like his mother, and he wanted to build a place where people such as her could get the care they needed, where the best science of the day would be applied to treat the mind's affections, so the tragedy that befell him could not happen to anybody else, as he doesn't want to see any more people suffer the same tragedy that he suffered. He was going to call the place Arkham Asylum. With the money given to him by the Elliott Family Foundation, he would purchase land where he would decide to build Arkham Asylum. A war was fought on the very land he decided to purchase, and people, residents of Gotham, said that the land was cursed and soaked in blood and madness. But Dr. Arkham did not care, as long as good would come out of it. Dr. Arkham would explain that in the beginning, Arkham was everything he wanted it to be. It was a good facility with a full staff of like-minded individuals getting patients the help they so desperately needed. And with Gotham being Gotham, he said there were some patients that were a bit in need, and even then, they still helped him. Dr. Arkham believed that his mother would have been proud. Dr. Arkham would explain to us, though, that the asylum was not without its issues, and that one of its main issues was a man that he called Jack Doe, as he was a man so violent and heinous, he didn't even want to utter his name. Dr. Arkham explains that by the time Jack was sent to them, he had already murdered multiple people, men, women, children, and soon after his arrival to the asylum, he killed 2 nurses and disemboweled another prisoner. Jack took glee in killing. He was always laughing, a horrible grin on his face, and he was the type of inmate that threatened the very existence of the asylum. And because of that, Dr. Arkham wanted to help him the most. As Dr. Arkham is explaining this to the businessman asked him why was Arkham so fallen on such hard times. Dr. Arkham explains to him that they didn't have much money as other facilities did, and that the asylum would have closed years ago if it wasn't for the businessman making such donations and giving money to the asylum. The businessman would then laugh and says, "It appears you've done your homework," and he likes his donations to be anonymous. Dr. Arkham explains that he's not just going to hand his asylum over to someone he knows nothing about, so yes, he did his research. The businessman then explains that mental health is important to him. He feels it's their duty to find cures so that younger generations never have to contend with the suffering and conditions of the mind. He wants their children to have a better future. He then asks Dr. Arkham, does he have any children? And Dr. Arkham tells the businessman that no, he's never had any children. Dr. Arkham then explains that in 1885, it was raining the night he arrived, and we see a boy knocking on his door covered in blood. Dr. Arkham would then say that the boy was covered in so much blood that the rain couldn't even wash it away. He asked, how did the blood get that way? Whose blood was it? But the boy claimed that he did not know. Dr. Arkham says he was an orphan raised on the streets, and he was near death when he found him. So, him being an orphan himself, he took pity on the boy and took him in. Dr. Arkham would explain that he took the boy under his own wing, and that he was bright and learned very quickly. More than anything, the boy was fascinated by his work and would tour the halls of Arkham with him. Dr. Arkham then explains that the boy's fascination of Arkham Asylum would become a passion. Dr. Arkham would then say that he thought of the boy as his own son and somebody who would carry the name in his work. Tomorrow is a new page, father, the boy would say, no matter how many bad things seem to happen at the asylum. Dr. Arkham then explains that even when the boy met Jack Doe, the boy was not shook. And Jack was punished for brutalizing yet another nurse. He taunted the boy, tried to get under his skin. Ever a cruel joker, but still, the boy remained calm. Dr. Arkham explains that this caused him to wonder if Jack was truly beyond his help. As 2 days later, Jack would escape his cell and would take the boy hostage with scissors aimed at his throat. Dr. Arkham did everything he could to get Jack to let go of the boy. Jack was not stupid. Jack knew that killing the boy would result in instant death, so he let the boy go. And as Dr. Arkham hugged the boy, as he was excited to see that he was fine, he knew the light in the boy had only been increased. The businessman then says he sees that he still gets patients till this day. And Dr. Arkham explains that yes, while they get fewer and fewer patients, they do still get patients. The businessman then tells him that he must give Dr. Arkham his credit, as despite all the ups and downs of the asylum, he still managed to keep things afloat, even after the most infamous incident of all. Dr. Arkham responds by saying he doesn't know what he's referring to. However, the businessman would then say that yes, he does, and that as he has done his research on him, he has also done his research on Dr. Arkham and the facility. Businessman then says, please doctor, let's not continue to insult my intelligence and discuss the true reason this asylum's reputation has suffered for decades. He then asked Dr. Arkham to tell him about the breakout. Dr. Arkham would explain that in 1886, the breakout was all due to a careless orderly, as he had warned one of his workers time and time again to not get too close to the inmates, and one of them got too close to the inmates, and as a result, their keys were taken. Their throat was slashed from ear to ear with a sharpened toothbrush, and the inmate would escape and kill many other people that worked there as well. The inmate would then release a number of his fellow inmates, and they made their way down to the furnace room, where the inmates would quietly work through the night and dig out a tunnel from behind the furnace. And just like that, the inmates were gone. The very next day, Dr. Arkham would explain that he knew Jack had done it. He could almost hear him laughing. He knew Jack was the one who escaped the cell. So Dr. Arkham would run to the boy's room and would see that the boy was gone. He wasn't in his room. Only thing that was there was blood and his teddy bear. He would then grieve and say that his son was lost to him forever, and that he would repeat the phrase that the boy would always tell him, tomorrow is a new page. Dr. Arkham then tells the businessman that he never forgave himself for the breakout. And as a way to cope, he would convert his old storeroom and create a record of his own shame. Dr. Arkham explains that the breakout was hidden from the papers to prevent panic, and that all the inmates who escaped were eventually brought back to his place except for one person, Jack Doe. And he believes that the man would eventually become Jack the Ripper, the world's most notorious serial killer. Dr. Arkham would say that the man was more than human. He was evil itself, a smiling demon, a hellish jokester. The businessman then tells the doctor that he'd like to see the furnace room. Dr. Arkham tells him that it's been nearly 60 years since he's been down at the furnace room. As it was so traumatizing for him, he just didn't go down there because he couldn't face it. The businessman then tells him that the wall is rebricked and asks if this is where the inmates escaped from. Dr. Arkham responds with yes. The businessman then asks, then why is this other wall rebricked as well? Dr. Arkham then tells him that having not been down here in ages, as he said, it's not something I would have noticed before. The businessman then tells him, ever wonder what else you never noticed, doctor? As Dr. Arkham would explain that the man had whispered something in his ear, and it's something that stopped him cold in his tracks. And before he could respond, the businessman tells him, you don't have to see me out, doctor. I love the place. Dr. Arkham explained that he could not sleep. Dr. Arkham then gets up and goes to the furnace room and says he must have heard him wrong, but a part of him believed that he did not. As he goes back to the re-bricked wall and tears apart the bricks on the wall. And whatever Doctor saw behind the wall shook him to his core. He then tells us that he wrote these words. This is a desperate cry to anyone who might hear it. I shall put this journal in the post as soon as I'm done. But before I do that, I will go down into the dark one more time to prove what I already know. I shall remove the bricks and find what I know to be there. The horrible truth. And we see Dr. Arkham put the boy's teddy bear in the furnace. Dr. Arkham then says, the truth might be my legacy, but this place will not be. As we see the fire burn around everywhere. We see the fire spread to the entire asylum, burning all the inmates that sleep there and the nurses and workers who work there. And as Dr. Arkham continues on his journal, he says, and so I send this journal to you, Captain Flash of the Gotham City Police Department. I only pray it reaches you in time to stop him, the man who laughed from the dark. And we see as the Joker is reading this book, and he looks back and smiles. We then cut back to current Arkham and current present day. And we see something really cool. We see that on the wall of Arkham, a picture of the asylum burning in flames is on the wall. Dr. Arkham then explains that it wasn't Jack Doe. The buyer, the businessman, was the boy he had taken all those years ago and called his son. Dr. Arkham then explains that the boy who once pretended to believe in his place in healing the sick, but never truly did. Dr. Arkham explains that it was Jack Doe's body I found behind that wall, not the boy's. because it was the boy all along. The voice in Jack Doe's ear, the hand at his cell lock, the knife at his throat. For that's what the man, my buyer, whispered to me. The phrase only we two knew. The same one on the note left by Jack's body. Tomorrow is a new page. Dr. Arkham then says, the boy did it all just to make a fool of me. My hopes, my beliefs, he's the monster. The one laughing in the dark. Always laughing. And now he has come back to buy this place. I could see it in his eyes. The terror, he will make it. Instead of a place to heal the sick, a place to make monsters. You must stop him. Dr. Arkham then says, you must stop the man called Jack Grimm. Otherwise, God have mercy on us all. We then see Jack Grimm get up and walk into his room as he is reviewing Absolute Batman fighting a bunch of guards. As Absolute Batman is beating up all these guards, he's brutalizing everybody. As Joker is seeing Batman beat up all these guards, he tells us that he has seen enough to see that Batman is no real threat. Which is insane to say, because this man, Absolute Batman, is literally brutalizing everybody. A man in the back says, I can handle him easy. And Joker responds with, I know you can. And takes out a bunch of papers and says he would like to show him some friends, though, that he wants to introduce to him in the meantime. And on the paper, we see a bunch of Batman's rogues. Kirk Langstrom, Hugo Strange, Jonathan Crane. So Joker then releases Poison Ivy and Man-Bat. And the man in the back says, none of this was necessary. And Joker tells him, don't worry, you'll get your chance soon enough. Everything in due time. My Deathstroke. And he says that as we see Absolute Deathstroke. Absolute Deathstroke got that fit on. Bro is dripped out. Now that was a lot to uncover. It's really crazy when you think about it, as the entire time, the boy he took in was Jack Grimm. And at first, I started putting the pieces together once he said that the boy was covered in blood. I started considering the possibility that this was in fact Joker as he was a child. But what interests me is how the Joker in this backstory has long hair, but in the previous comic, it's revealed and shown that he has short green hair. But we already know that Absolute Joker can be multiple people, so it's not crazy to think that he can change his appearance as well. But so far, this man has been nothing but pure evil. We know that he's out here taking children's lives, stranding people alone on islands, and now he crushed a man's dream to help patients and instead turned it into a place where he's keeping monsters. The same place where he was keeping people like Bane. But anyway, let me know what you guys think, because Absolute Batman is fire.